Hello, everybody, and welcome to Final Show Films. I'm John, your executive producer here, and thanks for tuning in to watch or listen to whatever it is you're about to watch or listen to. In these trying times, we really do appreciate everyone that feels that we are worth their time, and we hope that we're able to give you something entertaining to while away the time as you spend it. We particularly want to thank those of you that feel like we're worth financially contributing to, particularly our $25 and up supporters on Patreon, who are Antitonic, Drevian Alexander, Cat Waterflame, Rowan Parker, and Samantha Bates. Yes, I read that off of a list. Thank you very much for supporting us. I know that in these uncertain times, finances are tough for everybody, so that you're willing to donate to us means a lot to all of us here, and we thank you. That being said, please sit back, relax, and enjoy. We're live!
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to In Grove or Green, the Changeling the Lost Chronicle that we're running here on Final Show Films. My name is Jack. I am your storyteller for the evening, and I am joined tonight by Jeremy.
Hello, my name is Jeremy. I am playing Megan Lansing, Draconic Ferris.
And Mara.
Hi, I'm Mara, and I'm playing Lys, the Wizened Oracle.
And William.
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing Phage, the Ogre Gristle Grinder.
And John.
I'm John, and I'm playing Akujin, the Ogre Metal Flesh Blood Brute.
And Holly.
Hi, I'm Holly. I'm playing Lark, the Beast One Wing.
And last time we were in Baltimore, the Motley Unlikely hit the streets to contact the highest-ranked members of their courts, working hard to impress upon them the need for direct action in the Winter War that has been impacting the city as a whole. With some social maneuvering and new information acquired, our changelings prepared to, in the wake of those contacts, make their demands of Leaffinger, one of their primary rivals and the current custodian of the Keyhold Commons. Finding the asking price of his assistance too high, the Motley opted to reject his offers and alerted their courts directly. So we're going to see what happens with all of that. Everyone awakens on the following morning to see if their efforts will have the desired effects as a nearby radio comes to life near each of you with an energetic voice crackling aloud. What's up, B-holes and free holies? DJ Utzel coming at you on CBR with a bit of hot news on a chilly morning. Shit's going down in the Keyhold today, so if you want to team up for a Winter Wonder Throwdown, the Commons is the place to be this afternoon, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Who will rise and who will fall? No fucking clue. Who's going to be there to see it all happen? You Dippin' Dots better be. The Winter War is our headline event, and we need your sad bodies there to help decide how best to against this cruelty fight. Gilly, who the fuck writes this shit? And the radio clicks off.
I knew Otzel was Autumn.
No, they're not.
No, no. We've met everyone in their group except for that one, the one who lurks up in the attic.
I thought that was Hushabeth.
Yes.
We've
Apparently.
met Hushabeth.
Yeah.
No, we've seen Hushabeth in
We've
passing.
seen
We've
her.
never
We
actually
have
interacted.
never
Oh, I
talk
thought we
to
met
her.
Fair. Anyways, I look at the radio, raise an eyebrow, and then go into the hollow.
All right. Entering the hollow, you find your Zweihander reformed. There is a lightning bolt of shatter scars down the length of the blade, but it has reformed into a single metallic tang. The color of it has shifted slightly. It's now more of a blued steel with slight reddening towards the blood groove down the center.
I'll reach down and pick it up.
The weight seems to be about what you remember.
Walk it over the shoulder, and walk back out.
All right.
Can I see what it looks like to normalize? Like if I look at it and sort of do that vision adjusty thing?
Yeah. So trying to shift it to where you see its mask more. It looks like a fairly plainly made large sword. There in its true weird mien, there are accents of thorns throughout the hilt, the grip, and the crossguard that are non-visible in its mask. It looks like a very simply made, very large bladed weapon. It's still going to read as actual battle-ready sword to even mortals who look at it, but they're missing a lot of the more fey and changeling-esque aspects of its interior appearance. There's a slight jaggedness to parts of the blade in its mask that are just smooth in its, or slight jaggedness to parts of the blade in its mien that are just smooth edged in its mask. Yeah, it looks like something that was badly broken and somehow reforged, whereas does not have those sort of visible flaws to it for those that can't see through whatever coats the eyes.
I will carry it out bare on my shoulder because I left the piano case in the actual proper building, so that anyone who's up and about in the crack house will be able to see it before I put it away.
All right. Did I give you guys your willpower last week for getting a night's rest?
Yes.
Okay. I thought I did. Just wanted to check. All right. But all of you are awake, and you have most of a morning ahead of you before things kick off at 1 p.m. at the Commons.
I'm trying to find the Squires of the Broken Bow in the books, so I can put down the information on my sword.
Yep, I think they are Shadows at Dusk, or whichever one that is.
Dancers at Dusk.
Dancers in the Dusk, I believe.
That or Lords of Summer.
Yeah, page 153 in Dancers in the Dusk.
Thank you.
Is where their section starts.
Page what?
Page 153 is where their section starts.
Okay,
the Broken Blade is on 155.
Found it. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm like. Basically, I'm just sort of, after I do that, I'll see if anybody needs my assistance with anything and wait around until it's time to go.
Okay. Is there anything anybody needed to try this morning or get done before the assembly this afternoon?
If we had, I believe we probably should have made notes of it.
Did Liz want to try to get glamour last night at the hostel?
Oh,
Yeah, I did at the hostel. I want to go again this morning somewhere else. So Megan probably gets a text. Hey, I need a ride again. Back
Back. Okay. Yep. No problem.
to the waterfront, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cool. Where are we going on the waterfront?
Park. I give there's like kind of some there's like an artist area I remember from back in the summer. This is not ideal time to do this, but I'm gonna try and fish for
There's
glamour
not
there.
really an artist. There's the inner harbor where there are
Okay.
large pier spaces of sidewalk. Is
Okay.
basically it. Mhm.
Yep. I'm going to try and find a place that's fairly visible and do some art stuff.
So here's the problem.
Yes.
Everything is under at least 6 inches of snow.
Okay. All right. You can do snow angels and stuff. I want to do something. Let's see here. Can we stop and get food coloring?
Food coloring?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. What do we need food coloring for? I'm excited about this.
To dye the snow.
Hell yes.
Cool. Okay.
isn't this how you had like the bad vision the last time you tried to do something artsy in public
Yes.
for glamour?
Yes.
Mhm.
Nothing could go wrong with this. Yeah, I'm gonna go get food coloring. As much as possible from a single grocery store.
Yeah,
And
They've got like at least 12 to 15 packs of
Sweet.
the.
Are we
Perfect.
looking? Are we looking
color.
for particular colors?
no, I can go with just the standard, like the 5 ones they usually give you in those.
Okay, because like we can go to like I don't know, bakery supply shop. They probably got more variety, more quantity.
Oh, it's a good idea. No, this will work for
Okay.
now.
Sweet.
And essentially, I think a squirt gun. Several in different colors.
Yep.
Different colors.
Hell yeah.
How many resources does Liz have?
I have 2.
Okay. Yeah.
I
you can
have
get-
4, and I will enable this in any way
goodness.
possible.
All right.
Sweet.
Here's the one thing. I will
Yes.
need Liz specifically
'Kay.
to make a wits and investigation -3
All right.
because it is the depths of winter and finding somebody
fair.
who's carrying squirt guns
It's difficult.
is not necessarily going to be easy.
Super
What was it,
soakers?
-4 or -3?
-3.
-3. Okay.
Like Toys R Us, as the equivalent of like a Toys R
Mm.
Us.
I was gonna say
So,
I
yeah.
can go out to a Walmart and get like squirt guns of some variety.
So you have to stop about 3 different places
Okay. All right. she
before
starts
you can
getting
find squirt
anxious,
guns. Yeah.
Like after the second one.
And then it occurs to you that you will also need a liquid water source.
Okay. Okay. Shoot. Wait. Like
To mix
water
with the
bottles
food,
or do you have vodka?
not on my motorcycle.
Oh, that's right. We're riding on a motorcycle.
This is a
gonna go
new
great.
this is a new character that Jeremy's playing.
Like, don't get me wrong.
Liz is still
I am.
asking.
I do like a good drink, but the police tend to look at you angry when you have your hard liquor strapped to the side of your motorcycle.
And are drinking it with your helmet visor
Right,
up out
yeah,
of a
yeah.
paper bag while doing 30 down a snowy street.
If you want vodka, we're not. If you're at the waterfront, we are not far from my place.
Can't wait.
Oh wait, no, we can just break the is the ice thick? We could just break through it.
Can't wait
That's
until we
fine.
hit spring and summer when Akushин will be doing exactly that.
Can I get
I
a
mean,
pack of?
You do
like-
you. Road rash is a thing.
Yeah. It probably takes another step, but can I get a a water like a
Yeah, one of
case?
those like 12 packs of. Yeah.
Yep,
mhm.
basically.
All right. So
All
yeah,
right.
stop and grab some
Yep.
liquid supply. It's difficult to. You have to get some bungee cords out and strap it to the back of the motorcycle, which definitely cuts into your seating space, but you manage. And you guys end up at the waterfront. With all the time that this has taken, it's probably about 11 o'clock. So you got about 2 hours.
Okay. All right. I want to. This is a bad idea. I don't think Liz realized this is a bad
This
idea.
is a
She's going
fucking
to
amazing
give.
idea. Oh
a
wait, what you're about to
warning.
say? Never mind.
Yeah.
Let me hear it first.
Going to give a warning to the people of Baltimore to stay inside because there's a war on. Basically, is the message
Okay.
she is trying to get across.
And
Does it come
is
off
she
like
just
a Jackson Pollock, or
is she just spraying this in big letters into the snow at the Inner Harbor, or what?
There might be a
Pretty-
conversation if that starts.
Not okay. So basically she's gonna try and recreate some like flashes of she's been watching the news on this. So she's going to be recreating some of those basically like screenshots of the news of the day, culminating in the one that was yesterday. Big giant event. That
Using
video.
squirt guns in the snow.
Yeah, it's not gonna be great.
So as I've seen this play out,
Yeah.
Liz, honey,
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Look, I am all 1000%
Jammed.
in favor of you doing things that you're passionate about and that you feel are important to you. That said, I don't know that we should be publicizing to, the
It's been
norms,
on the news already.
let's say. Yes, but a lot of us would consider that to be damage that's already been done.
Mhm.
When news of people like us and hobgoblins and shit like that starts to break into the mainstream, you know how you never hear about that stuff?
It's not
There-
news about us. They think it's kids.
Right. Are you sorry, is that how you are portraying it in the
Yeah,
screenshot?
she's not trying to make it look like
Okay.
yeah, changelings.
Okay.
It's very much like these are things that you've seen on the news. Stay inside. Okay. I
Let-
was-
it's less-
I'm all
less-
on and I am helping.
it's
Sweet.
less there's a war on, more hide your kids, hide your wives, there's a murderer on the loose.
yeah,
Yep,
pretty
yep,
much.
yep. I am on board and contributing.
Okay.
Okay. So if you're going to be assisting with this, Megan, give me a wits and crafts -3.
Could I make an argument for expression?
So expression is much more directly communicative. If you're writing something or if you're speaking, that's expression. If you're
I'm going
making a
to let-
tangible object,
I'm going to allow Liz to do her work, and I'm going to make
Unmolested.
sure that nobody fucks with her.
okay.
Because I am not going to chance die this shit and screw it
Oh,
up.
good.
In that case, you'll be making a wits and probably intimidation, honestly,
Oh boy.
for Megan.
Okay.
I know that's Megan, not
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
'cause
not
I'm
Liz.
bad at intimidation.
Liz is making a wits and crafts -3
Okay.
because
Cool,
this
cool.
is not a good medium. This is this is
No.
all very jury rigged.
Yep.
So I will absolutely willpower this.
Okay.
Because who needs willpower?
Yeah.
And I know it says +4. That's because there's no way for it to signify that as a fairist, I don't get negatives on social rolls.
Okay, gotcha. 2 successes. All right.
Keep
So
walking.
you are projecting a don't stop, don't ask questions, just
Move along.
observe and move along.
All right. Hang on, I'm checking.
I mean,
I
if
think
people
that-
stop and stay, admire,
Right. mhm.
like that's fine.
Yeah.
Right. But if
Move
anybody approaches Liz directly or seems like they're
Yep.
intending to interfere, you are there to
Somebody who steps in the way.
Don't do it. Okay. Almond. I've got 2 here. Nah. I'll leave it. Okay. Wits and crafts -3. I am going to spend a willpower as well. It's
Okay.
just flat. Three successes.
So Megan, it's very easy to keep people moving because fucking nobody's here. It's the waterfront. It's frigid. It's windy.
Fair.
Nobody's around.
Never underestimate mankind's lack of intelligence regarding going out in the elements.
Oh yeah.
That's just 2020.
However,
So I
Yeah,
say,
that's
if this
2020.
past year has said anything.
right. However, there is a homeless couple, pair, something
Okay.
that kind of wanders by, apparently making a cut across the harbor to somewhere, who stops and kind of evaluates it. Just sort of looking for a minute. And then one of them, maybe to you guys, maybe to the elements at large, or somebody that you guys can't quite see. Yeah, that's about right. I wouldn't be surprised if more of that. Probably down McDonald's, and we're gonna have to tell those stories. So Liz, you pull 3 glamour off the pair of them.
Wait.
I do like that.
You are muted, John.
Yeah, not to the stream, but I was to here. I do like that Megan's activities were basically actively hindering Liz's ability to get glamour.
No, I was not preventing anybody from staying and watching. I was preventing people from interrupting.
What's the point where you have to worry about going over your glamour thing? think
So
I'm there yet.
did that take you over your max?
I don't know what my max is. That's based on weird, isn't it?
Yes. What is your current weird score?
3.
3.
Leave your
It's
max
probably-
is
I'm probably not there
You
yet.
have a max of 12.
Okay, yeah, I'm good.
All of you have so much
Okay.
more weird than I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yep.
yeah. Glut in my house rules is basically if you get equal to or more than half of your weird from any single harvest roll, and it puts you over your max, that's when things go rough.
Got it. Yep, I'm good.
So for all you guys aiming towards weird 7 and 8, at that point, it's going to be real hard for you guys to get glutted. Instead, you get addictions. That's
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's a whole different problem occurred at that point.
Yep.
Then you start to lose your grip on reality.
and your hit points. Definitely lose your grip on those too. But yeah, so you pull 3 glamour off of this pair of people out braving the elements through no fault of their own. And takes you roughly it's probably about 12:30 or so by the time
Yeah.
you finish up. It's coming out very abstract.
Yep.
You're almost out of red entirely.
Need more red.
Looks good.
Thanks.
Looks fantastic.
I'm done now.
You sure we don't want to get more red? How much time do we have?
The radio said 1.
About half an hour.
Yeah, no, we better go.
You heard the radio too.
Yep.
I
They
think
need
I
a
know
copy
who-
editor.
Apparently,
Alright.
the DJ realized it
think-
too.
Script polish writer.
Oh, I think I know who it is.
Really?
Yeah.
It's DJ Otzel.
Well, let's get there.
Okay.
All right. So was anybody headed over early, or is everybody just shooting for the standard?
I'm heading over early.
I say
Very
Phage is
least.
probably going to be there early.
Okay. How early is early?
At least an hour.
Yeah, I'm going to say probably at least noon.
Head over at noon.
Hours.
Okay. Coming up around noon, the door is locked currently. You stand out there and you kind of pull on it. Doesn't yield.
I don't pull on the door. I knock on it.
All right. You knock on the door and there's no answer as well. And this time, Akajin, as you knock, it definitely reverberates
Oh, yeah.
through.
So in that case,
This is not the same effect that was on
It's the
Leaffinger's
one.
office
It's the
door.
one big knock. Then it's the
Right. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Yep. There's a little shake. Some snow falls down off the eaves
glass rattles.
somewhere. You're pretty sure if anybody's in the kitchen, there's one of those little Jurassic Park in the glass of water.
Through the door. Wait for a minute. Turn and lean against it. Well, I guess nobody's home.
Were you bringing Paige to this Phage as well, or just you?
If she wanted to come, but wasn't going
Yeah.
to force her if she
Mhm.
if she didn't want to show up.
Yeah. No, if she doesn't have anything else happening this morning, she's got some time off, and of course, winter break. Things haven't quite kicked back up full swing because government gets to take whatever breaks it wants. As long as it's fine with things shutting down in the meantime.
Surprisingly, more often
yeah.
than not, they are.
Yeah.
It's like the news industry.
Yeah.
Entertainment specifically.
But you sit there for about 15, 20 minutes or so before you hear the bolt turn in the lock.
We'll get off the door.
And then it turns twice more at varying heights. And you assume now access is accessible, as it were. And if anybody tries the door, it will open and you guys can go inside.
Yeah, if there's no sound for a second, try the door.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Knob turns, you push inside. Each of you can roll weird, since this is the first time today that you're coming into the commons.
Just weird.
Just weird.
Think I pull 2 glamour.
Yep. The plants sort of flex and shift in a non-existent breeze. 2 glamour for Phage and 2 for Oxygen.
Hey. Feeling good.
Moving into the commons, the lights are turned down very low. And in the main assembly room where the stage and the bar and everything is, the house lights are almost completely off. There's just low lighting from the illumination in the center of each of the tables that's set up. There's a number of tables. Usually there's a big open space in front of the stage. It's been fully filled in with seating and tables. You can hear people up in the upper mezzanine areas moving around, but it's too dark up there for you to actually get any visuals on them currently.
Is there like a central focal point of all the seating, or is it just on the stage?
The stage itself is vacant.
Okay.
Yeah. And after about 5 minutes, you hear a thump and a dragging sound as Red 5 pulls a big podium out of somewhere in the back and drags it up, kind of gives you guys a little bit of a wave and sets it center, kind of adjusts it a little bit, and then goes back to be apparently doing more backstage stuff.
I'm going to move over to the stage. Not going to get up on it because they might start setting things up, but I'm just going to lean against the side of the stage, put the piano case down, flip it open, slide the broken blade out, close it again, and just sort of sit there with the blade leaning against my shoulder, waiting for people to arrive. And
Okay.
Paige will also just sort of post up on the edge of the stage and wait.
Okay. Around half an hour before, so honestly only about 10 minutes or so after you guys have been there, people begin to trickle in. There's a fair number coming through. You all definitely see people you recognize. Akujin, Diego comes down from somewhere upstairs, gives you a wave, and then goes and sits off in kind of a far corner. If you're on the stage, it would be back and to the right.
back to him.
Yep.
Phage kind of looks over at Paige as people are starting to file in and just, now we get to see how well the government of the traumatized can pull together in times of crisis.
Well, hopefully. There's pulling together, and then there's pulling together in the way you want them to, though.
Phage, technically speaking, none of us are the leadership of any of the courts, so should we just sit back and watch, or what?
We brought this together. We need to be present for this.
I mean, we're going to be present, but are we going to be... Do you think they're going to want us on stage, or do you think they're going to want us sitting in the front row?
I think we'll find out, but considering we're the people who brought this information across to all of the courts, we're the only people who have the straightest of all stories, so we'll probably be necessary.
Figured. Just wanted to double check and see what other people were thinking. Speaking of, where's Lark?
Lark's going to show up about 1:45, I'm thinking.
Okay.
Would Barnaby be coming with her?
So Barnaby spent the night at his hollow last night.
Oh, I thought he stayed with Lark.
Yeah, no, he stayed with Lark.
Wait, was that the night? That was not the night before?
That was last night.
That was awesome.
Okay. In that case, yeah, Barnaby you would have woken up with Barnaby the next morning, and yeah, he would just he would have spent a good bit of the morning on the phone making calls and that sort of thing, and then the rest of Godforsaken probably would have. He would ask if you mind if they meet here, or would it be better to meet somewhere else before we head over?
They can meet here.
Okay. So yeah, they would all caravan over, and then he would have given you a ride, or you could have given him a ride. He's not particular as to whose vehicle gets taken and who's driving.
Track now.
Yeah. But yeah, so basically there would have been a vehicle following you guys over as well.
And yeah, Phage is making it a point to be present and identifiable for everyone that comes in that door, as I've been here waiting for everyone, keeping an eye out, sort of.
Also, same. Basically being a pillar of the summer court here and ready.
Yep. So you'd probably be getting there roughly about the same time, maybe a little bit before Megan and Liz show up as well. As you go inside, we'll just loop everybody else in on the scene now. All of you can see that people are starting to congregate at tables and that sort of thing. Most people are sitting either affiliated at a table with their motley, and although there are a number of mixed court motleys like yourselves, there are sort of sectioning off a level of by court also, but that's sort of like the secondary sorting metric. Most people are sitting with whoever their motley is. And the room is almost full at this point. Anybody who's looking around can very easily tell, however, no winter members are present
Yet.
Or
Or visible.
visibly. Yeah.
visible. Right.
They're
Mhm.
here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Do we all
but
make
they're
that weird roll? Just for
yes. Anybody who's coming in, so the other three of you can make your weird roll as you enter as well. So one more glamour for Liz, one more for Megan.
Good.
And one for Lark. Who is currently your highest weird character in this Motley.
As more and more people start coming in, lean over to Phage again.
Mhm.
So, we want to split up to our respective leaders when they arrive and see what the game plan is, or just wait and see?
I think they'll be coming to us, considering we're at the stage where all the talking's going to be done.
Yeah, but, in case they don't.
Yes. If they decide they're going to get to their corners, I think.
You guys do see Gilly and the Haunted Waters come in first. 3 of them. The Gallo Glasses arrive very shortly after, so that covers Sledge and Sunset. Joey Hot Sauce was there a little bit earlier with all of his gang. And with about 5 minutes to go, you guys are basically seeing the last of the stragglers come in, of the people that are apparently going to be immediately present.
Stop, folks.
And
Nope. Does War Dancer arrive?
yes, War Dancer is also present. She has a phone that she keeps swiping back and forth on, almost like she's on Tinder. Go ahead and give me an intelligence, and this is for Akujin. Intelligence and politics, honestly, probably.
Any bonuses for a mantle?
Not for Mantle on this one, no. Mantle is more of a social thing. This is a do you know this about Summer's fortifications?
It's no longer a chance die.
That's nice.
Three
Successes on 2 dice.
7, and then the 10 exploded into another 10, which landed on an 8. Very nicely done. You're like, oh yeah, no, you've seen her do this before when she's out and around, and she's got a camera monitoring software app loaded into her phone. So that's basically her nod to, yes, I have to be present, but we are not losing eyes on our fortifications here, and we are definitely going to be doing this as best we can.
And I also have I would have also at some point in the morning sent out the word to my gang that just had the boys being on the lookout for that group of homeless people that were attacking folks on the news. Just tell them to keep an eye out for them and let me know.
Right.
Let me know if you see them. Don't engage.
Okay, sounds good then. All right, let me sort some data here.
Because I also have a surveillance team.
Yes, you do. But yeah, of the people that are currently present, Gilly's there, Sunset, and you assume Leaffinger is around somewhere, and then Sledge and War Dancer.
Can I try and sneak away from Megan and or Lark or whoever is near me? And I want to head up and see. This is everything about this is disturbing. It's all weird and different. I need to see if my perch is still there because that was probably be where Liz would want to sit to kind of like watch.
Okay. Give me a dexterity and stealth.
Okay.
Is your nest still around?
Megan and Lark can roll wits and composure.
Yep.
You notice this sneaking off into the night.
There we go.
2 successes for Megan. 3 successes for Lark.
All right.
So yeah, so you start sneaking away, and both of you immediately notice. Oh, Liz is dipping out to go somewhere.
Yep.
Liz,
Uh-huh.
where are you going?
I'm going upstairs. I'll hear it all, but
All right, go ahead.
Be careful.
Mhm.
mhm.
If you see Leaf Finger, punch him for me.
Okay.
Or if you really don't want to, ask him to come down here and I'll punch him. I am 100% okay with that.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Give me a wits and composure, Liz. Since
Probably
you're
not
apparently looking for
during the-
Leaf Finger on the way.
Probably not during the meeting, but
I'd say-
before or after is fine.
There's no.
The lights are off, so you are at an additional -1 to this roll.
I
for
didn't have
standard.
any. You want me
I
to
was gonna
roll
say-
it?
Okay. No, you're good.
Okay.
There is the caveat of what happens if Liz finds him and punches him, and then he still comes down. But there's no indication of whether or not Liz punched him.
Then he'll get punched twice.
So yeah, you go up the first set of stairs to the initial mezzanine, cut back, go up, turn around the corner to take that back hall towards where your nest access is, and just bam, walk straight into somebody.
Look up.
Liz, I was wondering if you would come up here. It's Leaffinger.
Hi. Yeah. I'm
Headed for
trying
your
to
old
get
haunt?
past. Yes.
All right. Well, tell Click like I said hi, and that I'm expecting great things today. And he just slides past you and heads downstairs. Do you take a swipe at him?
Did you just why
Yes.
You just why I oughted him is what you just did.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and punch him.
Give me a let me
Fist-
find his character sheet.
Fist
Lark
bump
should
his
stop
shin.
making jokes around Liz.
You really should. You really
Especially when it
goddamn
doesn't
should.
sound like a joke.
I mean, Megan took it seriously.
Way about jokes.
No.
Dude is 100% getting popped in the nose. Probably after the meeting because we don't want him to screw up anything before the meeting happens, but
All right, you are making a strength and brawl roll at a -3 for his
Okay.
defense.
All right. So that's a chance die.
So you did just
Excellent.
why I oughta.
I know we don't know if there's any success yet.
That's fair.
So I'm gonna do this.
If you get the one, it's just
Oh, so close.
Oh, I'm gonna
Yep.
waste this on useless things. I'm gonna
Excellent.
use the luck
Yes.
token.
So you just aim for, and you're like getting ready to
Willpower.
swing at him, and you realize, yeah, you spend the willpower, turns it into a simple success with 1 success, and you just pop a knuckle right into his kidney as he slides past you.
Oh, I was aiming for his face. This is a petty, spiteful thing. I was aiming for his face.
Yeah,
I mean, you're kind of short compared to him.
You're short, and you were going for it, and then you suddenly realized as you kind of ran the thumb over that coin that this is your only opening, honestly.
Okay. All right.
Because the thing is, if you punch for somebody's face, they see it coming,
Yeah.
most of the time. So yeah. And he just kind of turns and looks at you.
Dash away. Up.
It's a point of bashing damage, Leaf Finger. You'll be fine.
I mean, he could soak it. It might not even be a point of bashing damage.
No, yeah.
There's not soak in New World.
Oh, is there not?
He's
Nope.
not a vampire.
Yeah,
Or
you don't get soak. Okay, and do.
It can't be.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you dash away.
Yep.
Slide down the little walkway and up to you. There's a ladder built into the exterior wall, more or less, that you scramble up on, run along the catwalk, and turn a corner into your nest. As you turn the corner for the little last 3 yards of movement, you realize that there's a small light on up here, and there's a figure seated over a small table who looks up and just locks eyes with you as you get closer. The last time you saw this person, they were beating you very badly at backgammon. Hello.
I sit down across from him.
Looking down at the table, there's a Go board. And he seems to be playing both sides of it currently. They're going to start soon.
Mm-hmm. This is where I like to watch things from.
Yes, it's good for that.
You put a light up.
My eyes might not be as good as yours. The other one's still there. You're very beautiful, did you know?
She turns beet red.
And he just reaches out and puts down another stone. Oh, we lost Holly
Holly
for a
lost
second.
Oh no.
Oh, God. Mara, your internet keeps infecting other people.
Mwahaha.
Tell it to stop.
But yeah, if Liz doesn't say anything
That
else.
doesn't work.
No, she's
He'll just-
gonna just be
Mhm.
watching him play.
Okay. Yep. He just continues to place piece after piece after piece after piece. And you can tell this is definitely his skill set.
Did he tell you why this is happening?
No. Click. Click. Click.
She declared a war on us. So we're gonna do it back.
Mm-hmm. Wars kill people.
So does the cold.
That's true. And as you say that, you feel just the faintest aura of heat radiate off of him. Just kind of washes over you like a summer breeze almost, just for a moment. And then he picks up the board and just tilts it to the side, pouring all the pieces back into a box and sets it down. showtime. And that's where we're going to take a break.
Go back in a bit. If you're watching on Twitch, please stay tuned for these commercial messages. And we're back.
And as Click Clack says, showtime, all of the lights everywhere go out for just a moment. Pitch black, and then slowly, with a faint buzz, rise in illumination again. And everybody who's on the assembly floor can see Leaffinger step out, lit by a very faint follow spot. Good afternoon, all my friends. We're here because some significant business has arisen and warranted discussion. Given that the current monarch, whomsoever they may be, has not spoken or indicated their presence, I feel that the current climate would simply indicate that the floor be opened. Let's try to keep this in good order. Bar is open for anybody that needs it. And he kind of gets a little bit of a chuckle with that as he turns on his heel and walks straight over to where Will Turnover is manning the bar, slaps his hand down and says, "Make mine a double."
Phage looks at every position that she's marked, because she has marked whenever they came in, each of the court leaders, to see if any of them is going to get up first.
Mm-hmm.
And as Phage does that, I reach down and grab the helmet and put it on, because I know we're probably going to have to step up first.
Lark
Yeah,
gets a
big-
text that says I punched him in the kidney.
I mean,
That's it.
She'll send you back a text saying, I was just ... things.
There's no response.
Megan is fully ready to walk towards the stage. Just to there's a moment's pause to see if anybody else is.
Yeah, Phage is just looking to see if
Just
anybody
like
else is getting up, but if not, she's
half a
getting up on the
second.
stage.
Nobody is initially rising to meet.
All right,
So
leaps
Phage-
up onto
Yep.
the stage.
Yep.
Same
Phage,
thing.
All right, so
Phage and Megan and
Akajin.
Akajin.
okay.
I'm gonna say Lark will follow Megan.
Sword on
Okay.
and the broken blade on my shoulder and very much
Mhm.
visible.
Clearly visible. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
What's up, folks?
Thank you, everybody, for showing up. And I'm sure that even Winter's got a few eyes in here, so no one's going to be missing out on the information that needs to be shared tonight. I'm sure it's probably not news to most of you, but there's a war on, and everyone needs to know some important details so that all of us can pull ourselves together and properly fucking deal with it. Because doing nothing is just going to get us and more innocents aside killed.
In fact,
Yep.
for those of you that don't know, it's already gotten 4 people killed. And I will read out, and I will just list out the names of the people that have died.
And that's just among our kind.
Mundanes are dying left and right.
Yep.
Yep. So
Which whether we care about whether any of us individually care about that or not is bringing attention to us that we don't want.
Sorry, Jack, you were about to tell me the names I read out.
Mm-hmm. Do you start with your motley mates or do you end?
I
with your
end with
motley
my motley mates.
Okay. So it would be Street, Graves, Adele, Mira.
I end on Adele.
Okay.
Street,
Mira, Adele.
Graves, Mira, and Adele. Also almost took Phage and Papa Sledge with him, too.
So, first, the important details. The name of the enemy, who we're fighting. Our opponent is a goblin queen by the name of Queen Gracie. From what we know, she managed to wander into the hedge some years back. About 5 years ago is her stated disappearance from this world. Before she comes back now at the head of an army of goblins.
We know she's slicing body parts off everyone that our goblins can find in order to build a family. Which, if that doesn't skeeve any of you out, something's wrong.
And we know she's a little girl that wandered into the hedge.
Somebody's voice rings out at that. Is she still a little girl?
It's a good question.
Don't
Not
know.
sure.
But what she is right now is a threat.
If she is, she's no less dangerous for it.
And the threat's only escalating. Many of you have probably seen the news in the past few days. Well, if those of you that haven't, an attack from a group of hobs were on some mundanes was documented by the mundanes on video. You may have heard tale of a homeless man and some children attacking people. Those are hobs. We know where at
Little bit of muttering in response to that. You can overhear hubs this side. Can they cross the thorn? I didn't know.
They've been opening up gates every which way that they can. One opened up near our hollow. That's when Summer got some retaliation for their losses. You may have heard the gunfire. We've also found at least one of their bases of operation within the hedge, out by... Jack, what's the fort again?
Fort Armistead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fort Armistead.
Out by Fort Armistead. We closed the door on one of the trods there, but there's definitely more entrances around it.
That's at least a forward operating base, and it's at least a target for us to begin with. And if any of
you guys hear Barnaby's voice rise over the crowd at that point, and no door that gets closed stays closed forever.
You're damn right. Anything we can do to try and stop them from coming out is only a temporary solution. The only way to solve this permanently is to put an end to this war.
And what we need more than anything else is information. People that know the hedge real well that can point our summer boys and girls at targets so we can make those targets go away. Because the longer we sit on our asses doing nothing, the more people are going to die.
And
Sorry, go ahead.
This isn't a job just for Summer. Every court needs to be pulling together for this, because we either stand together or die alone.
We also very specifically, in terms of pulling together, even for those of us who can't fight, you need to be in the know of what's going on, because there's if they keep attacking like this, isolated individuals are going to get picked off and we'll never know the difference.
And even if you can't fight, there are other ways that you can help.
Yep.
There's a brief pause in your guys' speech, and somewhere in the back, a voice calls out, "It's winter. Winter's the season for hiding, not fighting."
And hiding's
Right.
not going to solve anything.
You want to die then?
Exactly. If you keep hiding, no one's going to be there to protect you. Everyone needs to come together and do something about this. We've already been found. Hiding hasn't worked.
And at that, there is a sudden blast of frigid air through the entire room, blows your hair back, and for a minute there, you could swear there's a swirl of snowflakes in front of your face. You have to actually brush it away before you can see anything. And from somewhere above you, there's a cold, clear voice, not loud, but very incisive. "My children of the other, you gather today with many opinions. You claim that you cannot be kept safe by concealment. You pretend that the only response to this, the only tactically advantageous approach, is to confront it with anger and openness." And there are the sound of impacts. Thud, 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 thud. And the lights kind of quake, and they brighten, but not with the same golden sort of electric glow that they'd had before, but with a bluish white kind of radiance. And you can see at different points in the room, and one directly in front of you guys who are up on the stage, is the corpse of a hobgoblin that has been dropped from somewhere above you, which is still too dark to see. A night's work by your protectors of winter.
How many are there?
And part of the threat has already been eliminated. Go ahead.
How many
Aki.
how many bodies are there?
6.
Not to
It's cute.
disparage your work, but we killed more than these in a fucking parking lot with a van.
And again, when they decided they were going to shoot up our hollow. But it looks like we finally brought you to the table.
This
So welcome
isn't-
to the meeting.
This isn't a good night's work. This is a Tuesday. There are more of them en masse. 6 ain't gonna cut it.
Welcome to the table. We're glad you finally came.
And the summer speaks in flames, as it knows how. You speak of multitudes. Of this we are aware. How many multitudes? Tell me, Summer, what are the numbers of us in comparison to them? Tell me what facts you know.
How many hobs have I probably can't give an exact number, but how many hobs have I personally seen since this war started?
You have seen at least 60.
I'm gonna reach out and put a hand on your shoulder really quick.
He stops. He looks like he's about to spit a number back out, but he stops.
About how many were in that camp? That
You
we
guys
saw?
didn't really get a good numerical counting at that because of the visibility and stuff. You couldn't tell how many were actually in the huts. And by the time that they started mustering out, it was in response to your presence, so you guys had fucked off.
Mhm.
I would ask, you're gonna know that information better than we will. How big are their numbers compared to ours?
That we do not know, and neither does anyone in this city. Therefore, it would be rash in the extreme, would it not, to commit a large number of forces that might be needed for defense later on an ill-conceived and reckless attack against a fortification that lies in the hedge you know not where.
It would be. And unfortunately, without Winter's scouts and information to guide us, this is the only path we've been able to move forward with. If you've got more help to provide us, we welcome you to the council.
Alas, we had trusted in your wisdom to know that without information, it would be foolish to imperil yourselves. But if this is a course upon which you are firmly set beyond reason or ration, then perhaps the information needs to be distributed so that you may be content from your tantrums.
Please gladly share what you know with us so that we can make proper and rational decisions rather than having to act with what we know and what we can do rather than hiding when we know we've been found.
There's a brief pause. And then one more thing drops from above and bounces thunk, thunk, and rolls to a stop on the stage. It's a scroll.
Phage will pick it up and open it.
It's a map of the city, and there are 3 points that have been marked in with red X's. There's one over Hanlon Park. There's one at the corner of McPhail and Frederick Avenue. which is kind of the southwestish a bit. And there's one just outside of Camden Yards, which is the Orioles baseball stadium, just to kind of the south west of that, in between a little spot known as Conway Street Park.
Do I recognize one of these as being the location of her father's house?
No, Hanlon Park is the park where Gracie vanished from.
Mm-hmm. Would you care to share the
These-
significance of these?
These are their most trafficked gates. If you're intent on confronting them directly, it is likely you will find their fastness, their fortress, somewhere connected to these three.
Sorry. Where? Give me just a sec. Where were those again?
So the first one was over Hanlon Park,
Okay.
and the rough position of it kind of matches what Joey Hot Sauce had told you regarding the gate that Gracie vanished through, or his best guess, at least from what he and his magic tea remembered. The other is just at the intersection of McPhail, McPhail Street, and Frederick Avenue.
So,
And then the last one is in between Conway Street Park and Camden Yards.
while this information is passing back and forth between Phage and Megan and the Winter people, I want to just throw my eyes out to the people gathered, and I'm looking for reactions, sort of trying to get a feeling of the room. And within that, I'm trying to see if there's anybody that stands out as reacting oddly compared to the rest of the Changeling.
Give me a wits and empathy.
Elise, can I, if I could ask, how long has this information
We'll
been
spend a
available?
willpower for this.
There's no response. And you can feel the temperature in the room starting to return to a more normal. If you had to guess, winter's come, they've said what they had to say, and they've left.
Then I'm going to keep talking as if she's there,
Mm-hmm.
because some of these locations are near where some of us live.
5 successes.
And the fact that it didn't turn out poorly for us doesn't change the fact that perhaps some of this information could have been divulged sooner.
And say what you will of our rash actions, as you put it, they brought you to the table to get this information out.
We don't know where to hide from until you tell us where the scary parts are. And I just let that hang over everybody else.
And after a few moments of that hanging, she will hold the scroll up for everyone to see. All right. So everyone who's going to need to be organizing, we've got information now. We've got the strongest concentrations of them. We can get the people who can't fight away from there, and we can get the people who can fight ready to guard and do what needs to be done.
Yep.
Thank you, Winter, for the wonderful information.
So how good is my reading the room with 5 successes?
With 5 successes, you are just looking for those, and instead of trying to pick out individuals in the crowd, you sort of let the entire thing kind of visually wash over you and just wait for your brain to pick up on the anomalies. You find 3. There is an individual sitting over by Tag, who you recognize as the Autumn Scrivener. Um,
Do I recognize the person sitting by Tag?
yes. Well, I mean, you don't recognize them personally. You don't know their name, but you can pick out a fairly attractive individual with a mien of lots of like inlaid gold, studded gems that are actually part of their physiology, and a sheet of hair that's basically engraved silver that forms into silver wire strands that just cascades back down over their back. They are very taken aback, and you would say more than startled, actively terrified by the fact that all of these bodies have just dropped from the ceiling. You note Mbeku, who you do know, who you have met personally. She is the cold scale beast seeming from the High Thunder Motley, part of Diego's now Motley. Who is grinning like it's Christmas. And then you see Carl Stitches, who looks like he is trying to keep control of himself, eyes darting side to side, as if he's been cornered and is trying not to panic, but definitely looking for a way out.
Two suspicious people. Beku's just Beku. And it's also too new to be the headhunter.
So, with this new information, I'd like to ask the leaders of the remaining courts to come up on the stage with us so that we can start to actually make plans, and anyone who needs this information can get a copy of it so that we can all be properly prepared to handle the onslaught we're about to face.
There's a moment. And then Sunset very gracefully rises out of her chair, steps to the front. With your permission, Highness. And when there's no response from the ceiling, everybody take 5, shall we? And immediately, like, the buzz of conversation starts in the room as people are just going back and forth with literally everything that's happened in basically the last 10 minutes. Sunset, Sledge, Gilly, War Dancer.
Phage will look over at Will and be like, can we get a table up here, please?
Yeah. Turnover gives you a high sign and
As
jerks a thumb back, and one of the and Red, the ogre from the High Thunder Motley, trundles in the back and like pulls out some stuff and starts moving things around.
as people are gathering together,
Gilly and Will Starkers all come up as well.
As people are starting to maneuver and gather together, I sort of step up to the rest of the motley, turn my back to the rest of the crowd, pull my helmet off, and Akujin's face is completely calm, as opposed to it sounded like he was angry earlier, and he just sort of grins at Phage and the rest. Turns out, if you bark like a dog, people that think they're smart are willing to show you how smart they think they are.
Everything's going about as well as we could have planned.
Who needs a fucking drink?
I do.
I will in a
Or a
minute. but we
fucking
gotta-
a drink. Something. Who needs something?
Both, not in that order.
Yes.
All of the above, but yeah, I'll settle for a drink.
I will in a minute, but first,
It's fair.
we've got conversations to have. Phage will slam her.
So this last exchange has not been super quiet. Lark, give me a wits and composure.
I wasn't gonna go get it myself. I'm flagging a server down.
Oh.
something's happening over at the Godforsaken table that you can't quite see, but something's happening over there.
They're making fun of Barnaby.
Phage will, once the table gets brought up, Phage will slam her helmet down on the table and then lay the scroll out across it as she waits for the rest of the leaders to show
I'm
up.
like, drinks, lots of them, please, up here. Thank you.
Will looks at Phage. Standards, normals, everybody's regular.
Double shot of meat and whiskey.
Celebratory then. All right. And within about 5 minutes, he's back with drinks for the table and a couple of backups at strategic points on the.
I'm gonna go help.
on the surface.
I'm just gonna go help carry things over, and as I do, I'm gonna lean over to Leaffinger, and just go. So if you ever need somebody with a contact in winter, I know a guy. And grab something and walk back away.
Leaffinger just loses his shit and is just laughing his ass off. All right. So you guys are back at the table.
With the
Drinks
leaders,
are around.
hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
Phage
absolutely sitting on the edge of the table wherever this
Right. Just
appropriate
yeah.
spot.
Mm-hmm.
Phage just sort of leaned over the table in like the war marshal style with like helmet like right in front of her, hands on both corners. She sort of
put my
leans
helmet
over
on
it
the
and
table and
looks
sit down.
looks at the rest of the leaders. So we finally have some really useful intel.
Sunset stifles a laugh. Sledge kind of leans over, and he's looking better than he has recently. Well, if we've got 3 points of Ingress there, we'll need an initial scout, which we can take care of. And then roll muster. Gilly, Will, what can we expect from your side of the table? Will, who is at least a head shorter than basically anybody else around here, and more so than most, just kind of cracks his knuckles. Blinding black terror. Which gets a nod of appreciation from a couple different corners.
Sounds delightful.
Phage will look over, make sure everybody who needs one gets a copy of this information.
Gilly just pulls out her camera on her phone. Click. I can handle that.
Phage will take a picture herself as well.
Same, actually.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, Liz has definitely asked for someone to send her what the scroll said. So
Oh. I'll send the.
Mhm. So you've got an image
Mhm.
that you can zoom in on to get better detail of.
On our quiet topic for the evening, has anyone noticed anything useful?
Yes. 2 people stood out. One, without pointing, I sort of tilt my head in the direction of Tag. Silver, gold, and gems look terrified about the hob bodies. Don't know if that was just never seen dead hobs before or what, but. And another, and I'll, again, without pointing, nod my head towards Carl Stitches. Carl looks like he's about to shit himself for some reason.
Mm.
And he's trying very hard to not look like he's about to shit himself.
Lark is going to look over at Stitches.
Yep. Subtly.
Yeah.
As Sledge and Sunset, who are both in a motley with him, just kind of look at each other, nod. He's fine.
Okay. That's all I really saw. Becca was just happy as fuck that we managed to do something with Winter. Everyone else is just sort of taking it in. Those are the only outliers.
Sunset kind of tilts her head a little bit. No, the snake girl would be in that mood no matter what or whose body is dropped from the ceiling.
Okay.
That one bears watching.
She did come in from outside, so we don't know how long she's actually been here.
Also fair.
Who did they just indicate needs
Beku.
watching?
Echo.
Beku. Okay. I'm sorry, who is that again?
One of the High Thunder.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Does anybody know who Silver and Gold is?
Gilly and Will both speak up in unison. That's Arthana. She's delicate. Mhm.
All right.
And with her pointed out, Lark, you've seen her at some of the autumn assemblies in the past.
Mhm.
Yeah. Those are the only ones. I was keeping an eye on the crowd while you guys were talking. Those are the only ones that stood out to me.
All right. So, nothing too major on the secondary front, but we actually have real work on the primary now.
Unless anybody else saw something. I say looking at the elders.
Yeah.
Not presently, says War Dancer. But if anything suspicious is in the offing, it's more likely to happen in the next day or so than right here, right now.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Still, we actually got Winter to make an appearance. I call that an achievement, she says as she downs one of the shots.
You're welcome.
They
as I
had to.
drink.
There was no way they weren't going to show up. This was an absolute affront to their leadership. If they didn't show up, they might as well have just given up. More than they do by default.
There's a flash of light from off to one corner. A couple of the younger changelings are posing with a hob corpse like hunters.
Yeah.
I look over. I look back at Phage. They really thought 6 Hobbs was going to impress us?
How important are those? I mean, Winter's gone. We couldn't find out how important those might have been.
Shouted across the way, "Yo, Dawn, Eric, if you didn't kill it, you don't get the picture."
That's enough to make them fuck off.
I will.
Everybody who's assembled, give me an intelligence and occult.
I will also nod towards Diego and then nod towards the bodies. It's like we should probably get those moved.
I have a success.
Intelligence
One success.
and occult.
Mm-hmm. Sure do.
Intelligence and occult. Zero successes.
One success.
Okay.
Unsurprised.
One for Lark. You're rolling that as a chance. Oh, because
It is a chance.
Because
Yep.
it's a chance die.
It is a chance.
Yeah.
I was one off.
The one
This is
thing.
real bad.
Yep. The one thing, Phage and Lark, that occurs to you every other time you've seen one of Gracie's hobgoblins killed, it disintegrates and disappears fairly quickly.
Hmm.
Whatever Winter did, these guys are still here. You don't know if that's a difference in the hobgoblin or a difference in the murder method or what.
Somebody get an inspection on those hobs, actually, now that we're talking about it. The ones that we butchered all fell apart. Those are still in one piece. I don't know if they're different hobs or if Winter did something to them, but we need to find out more.
I will whistle for Diego's attention again, and then mime, sort of mime.
He's literally like got one under the arms and like
I was like,
"What now?"
I'll sort of wave him over.
he drops the corpse and starts walking over.
Leave one for inspection. These bodies are weird.
You want me to just
Prop it up here.
Bring it over here.
We'll make
Yeah.
sure no one
Yeah.
fucks
Just
with
bring it over here and get rid of the rest.
And he just whistles for people in his motley. He grabs one and just kind of fireman carries it over his shoulders and just onto the.
Reach down, pick it up, put it on the table.
Yep.
Sorry if any of you are squeamish. Fate says, looking at the rest of the leaders.
Sunset gives, oh my, the vapors, kind of thing.
I'm not a doctor. I got
and then just sticks her tongue out at you.
Fate gives her a wink.
And she beckons you over to the side.
She'll follow.
So, I hear you're making a play.
I wasn't about to let things go unchallenged. If I can make things better, I'm going to.
You're coming to the game very late, and you're very far behind.
I am, but I'm not about to
All
stop.
right. As long as you know, call it a sisterly courtesy.
I play this
Didn't
game
want
for my
you-
reasons.
And that's quite reasonable and very in keeping. As long as you're aware. I don't like any of my family going into things without their eyes open. Unless it's one of those things.
It's an uphill battle, but it's one I'm going to fight.
All right. Welcome to the game.
Age is a late spring, closer to summer.
All right. But
So
yeah, whoever wants to give this this corpse a once over, give me a
I just
wits and science.
I just gesture at the body and go, I drop him. I don't dissect him.
Can I have-
wits and science if you're trying to approach this from like an autopsy perspective. Wits and occult if you're approaching this from a more paranormal evaluation
I
perspective.
will do that second one.
Can I have perception? That little side conversation.
Yeah, wits and composure.
Never mind. Oh wait, it's still on
yeah,
chance.
still roll-
You're still rolling that as a chance die.
That's much better.
Yeah, you overheard most of that.
I don't do anything currently. Just
Okay.
I have a success in the occult.
information.
Okay.
I will look up to the ceiling and then text Liz. We're taking a look to see if these hobs are strange. Would you like to join us?
So Liz was basically looking at the coordinates or the various places that we were given and comparing them to like what she knows. Would she have anything as far as any sort of guesses on things that might have been missed, any new correlations based on what she's been kind of trying to dig up on what we've like discovered as a group with Winter's information that we've been given, or not?
Give me a intelligence and academics
Okay.
-2.
Okay. Oh, sorry, that is also still chance. Yeah, nothing. Okay.
Yeah, you're looking at this, and what you have here is 3 red marks on a map. You are not entirely sure what you're going to pull out of this. The main thing that piques your knowledge is obviously Hanlon Park has figured very heavily into this in your guys'
Okay.
investigation
Yep.
prior to now, and here it is cropping up again. But,
She will look over. Was it Click Clack?
Click Clack. Click Clack is who's up in the,
Oh, yeah,
up in the
it's
nest
Click
with
Clack.
you. Yep.
Click Clack and Clink is a different person. You
Clink
give
is a
me
different
lot of
person.
names that are similar-ish in my brain. Okay. Is Click Clack still up there
Like
with
Nero
me?
and Neofly?
Or did he
Yeah, no, he's still up there. He's actually just kind of leaning on the table with his chin in his hands. Those fingers wrap up a little too far around the,
Uh-huh.
because he's got really long, and just kind of staring at you. Give me a wits and empathy.
Sure.
Someone has a crush.
I feel like that was obvious from the "you're really beautiful" them early.
That is not obvious. What are you talking about? 3 successes.
Can confirm,
You're
not obvious at all.
you're not getting the same emotional sort of read off of him, but there's something very butterfly in the way he's looking at you. Something very reminiscent of sort of her way that she interacts with you specifically and reality around her in general.
Okay. Why are you looking at me like that?
For the memory. I'm sorry. And he kind of glances off to the side.
This has a harem.
Do I have a reflection right now? Can you see both sides of me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. I have a mirror image running around, maybe.
Is it your fetch?
I don't know. I didn't test properly.
I can help you find out if you need to. Maybe. I can try.
What's it going to cost?
A game.
That one? I indicate the go board.
Yes.
Okay, first I have to go dissect a body. Bye. I leave.
You just turn and go, and like a little there's a bit of a delay behind you, and you sort of hear the bye.
Oh, my
And then-
number. I go back and grab a piece of paper. I'm sure there's stuff strewn around. Liz is a hoarder.
Give me a wits and investigation.
Okay. One success.
You make a quick circuit of the area. You don't see anything of yours still here, and there is no paper whatsoever. And after a very brief moment, Click Clack pulls a pen out of somewhere and just holds out the back of his hand.
I will write my number on his hand.
Okay.
Coming is the text that comes through, and yeah, she heads down.
Mara,
Okay.
Mara now having the reoccurring fact of having a harem. Wednesday and Thursdays.
And yeah, she'll head down and take a look at bodies. I have science.
Okay. But yeah, no, with 3 successes, yeah, he perceives things and interacts that way. You would swear to God he has no sense of a crush or any maybe even any sense of like he might not even know what that is.
Yeah.
Still looking at me strangely. All right.
Yep.
That's okay.
Yeah,
Everyone looks-
and she'll take a look at the bodies and see if she can find what are
they haven't-
dead.
They're not crumbling
It's
away.
dead, Jim.
Who's Jim?
It's
me
a
a wits.
reference.
Give me a wits and science for the autopsy there for Liz.
3 successes.
3 successes. Nice.
Okay. Liz, you're just giving a quick physical of the body, and the very first thing you notice is a deep incision in the chest that goes through the clothes, through the body into, and you notice that this one is not currently wearing its red cap, the one that all of them had been wearing before.
No hat.
As you continue your investigation and you sort of peel back the injury, you find the hat jammed up inside the chest cavity.
Oh, hat.
Meanwhile, those of you that got a success on your wits and occult, the mouth is slightly ajar and you guys can see something in there. And one of you takes a pen and sort of just pushes it open a little bit. And an iron ring is jammed around this thing's tongue. There's a puncture in the tip of the tongue itself, as if it was hooked through and used to pull the ring down onto the musculature of the tongue itself to keep it firmly embedded there with some level of tension.
That looks familiar.
Looking at the ring, can I tell if it's just regular iron or if it's cold iron?
You can't tell.
Okay.
Yep.
I would not recommend.
Lick it. You'll find out then.
I would not recommend anyone touch that ring.
I should know if I could tell because I'm attuned to the element of metal or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nope.
Actually, I can try that. I'm just going to see if I can talk to it.
Okay.
I'm just going to reach out with my weird and see if I tried to control elements on it, would it work?
Okay.
Oh, my iron friend, are you feeling a bit of a chill right now?
Yeah, basically.
So that costs 3 glamour, and you roll manipulation and weird.
Does it cost 3?
For control elements, yeah. Unless the area is completely dominated by the element, which it is not currently. Okay.
Because that might not. Hang on.
Now, if you're trying to talk to it, that's contracts of commune, which I don't know if you have any of those.
Elements. Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. I'll spend the 3 glamour and roll the thing.
Okay.
I'm just trying to see if it'll work. I'm not trying to actually change it into anything.
Right. Yeah. You're trying to make the initial contact,
contact.
more or less. Yep. Yeah. So manipulation and weird. You can spend willpower if you want to.
Yeah. This is a work. One success.
One success. With one success, you can. Yep. So you reach out to it. And normally there's, that kind of contact and melding where you sort of gain. It's not a physical contact, but it's less than physical, but more than mental and also somehow spiritual. And there's that connection and link of energy between you and the element. You do that for this, and it's like hitting a brick wall that you immediately glance entirely off of.
So as I sort of focus,
your weird is going to do nothing to this, which to you is at least enough to confirm definitely cold iron.
Yeah. So as I sort of look at it, I'll just out loud vocalize, "That's a cold iron ring."
So no piercing anything with it. Got it.
I wouldn't recommend touching it at all, considering what the last ring we encountered like that did to Adele.
Very bad things, yeah. Iron.
Maybe it's keeping the bodies from disintegrating. Winter did it so that they could present something.
Don't have the nail anymore. I didn't grab it back.
I mean,
what?
Maybe Winter did it. Maybe these are just different in some way in terms of them being, let's say, empowered with these rings somehow.
Make them more sturdy.
Make them sturdier. Make them more lethal to us.
Jack.
Who knows?
That kind of ring was in the last hobgoblin we encountered.
Jack.
Yeah.
I heard somebody mention that they didn't know that hobs could come across out of the hedge.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense to me? do Hobbs being out here, not in the hedge, seem weird?
It is fairly rare.
Or impossible?
It's not one of those things that generally you encounter Hobbs in the hedge. It's their native environment. It's their endemic habitat. It's possible potentially. You've heard of isolated incidents of Hobbs coming into the real. For instance, the keeper of the Baltimore Goblin Market, who actually opens the gate for anybody who's accessing. That's a hobgoblin. Looks very human. Probably even for changelings could probably pass as almost human. And based on what you guys have probably heard or considered, most changelings assume that the reason it can come across is because that's its job. Its function demands that it be able to exist. The idea of Hobbs just being able to wander across apparently has been disconcerting and seems to fly in the face of somewhat accepted doctrine.
It's not an impossible or unheard of thing, but somebody who's more of a noob might think that.
I just
Right.
I look towards the older the leaders that are here and the nod towards the ring. Could that be what's letting so many of them come across at once?
Could be. Will says. Most times when one crosses, it's because it's pretty closely tied to its purpose, though. So we didn't get all of the folklore from people like us fucking around. Some of it is hedge-based. But usually for very specific purposes and with the associated bans and frailties and taboos that tend to crop up in stories as well.
Well, these Hobbs' job appears to be to invade.
I mean, you're not wrong there.
Is Diego still? I'm just gonna text Diego this time and just let him know they got cold iron in their mouths. Be careful where you touch.
You get a wolf's head and a thumbs up back.
Well,
Liz, with your 3 successes on your wits and science, go ahead and roll me a wits and investigation as well, with a single bonus die for the quality of your autopsy.
Jack actually giving someone a plus to their roll.
Oh, no, nothing.
not that it matters.
Nothing? Okay.
Nothing.
World of Darkness. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, it's possible that they're just special. It's possible that Winter did something to them to make them last longer, because statements don't work if they disappear into hedge stuff as soon as they hit the ground.
Not wrong.
Have you eaten a hat recently?
No?
Well, maybe that was it too.
I mean, cut a man open, shove his head inside. That's not an unheard of thing. People do all sorts of weird things to bodies to send messages.
What do we know about red caps? Would that cap be important being stuffed in their chest?
Over it, Starkers.
Yeah. Now, a lot of stories and testimonials and anecdotes about red caps originates from Europe. The hat gives them some sort of power. They have kind of a ceremonial, superstitious attachment to it. Generally, they soak it or use it to mop up the blood of whatever they've just killed over and over and over and over again. So they get pretty rank, as you can imagine.
Well, this one's also been inside this one, so even more so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, and usually they have, like, if these guys have a ban or a taboo, it probably has something to do with their hat. Might be able to fuck them up by stealing their hat or burning their hat or having their own blood on their hat, or could be any number of shit you can do with a hat.
How does this do anything about what we're going to do?
Mostly just
There's
wanted to clarify.
connections.
Mostly just wanted to clarify what Winter did to them, because they don't disappear like the other ones killed.
We don't want them to stay bodies.
No,
Was
we don't.
anyone able
Yeah,
to?
don't
I,
worry.
No, we don't.
was anyone able to place that voice with someone they knew? By the way,
Won't be able
I
to.
know 2 people in Winter, and one of them's dead.
I don't know, Winter.
That's not. We're asking the wrong questions. What are we going to do?
What we came here to do. Organize.
Oh. Les, War
that.
Dancer kind of leans forward. With these locations, Summer's going to scout today. We'll send analysis squads out to each for recon. Whoever finds the best lead to anything that looks like a central target will mark that location, begin to fortify our beachhead. And then once we have our forces assembled within the next day or so, assuming we've found our target, then assaults begin.
She's very big. She was very big in the dream I had.
The dream we had.
All right.
She squished you.
It was made of sand.
Beaches.
Interesting. Well, that part is much more Autumn's wheelhouse than mine. If you need somebody to kill somebody in a dream, I know a few people you can talk to, but
Actually,
in terms of the interpretive side of things,
that's information.
Will, can you handle this?
I'll say that's actually information that might
I gotcha.
need to be passed over as they're looking at Will. Aspects of Gracie have reached out to several of us in our me, Liz, and Lark,
She's a human in the
And
hedge.
and Adele.
and Adele too. But
She's a human living in the hedge. I'd be surprised if that hadn't happened to probably a lot of people.
didn't know if it
Hedge and
was
dreams are very closely intertwined, and the things that we navigate in terms of dreams. Humans on this side are basically single islands floating in a sea of sleep. A human dreaming on that side is a little more like a tsunami.
They're just incidental that we are not necessarily correlation or anything.
I mean, it's dreams, it's the weird, it's the hedge, it's magic. You can't say for certain one way or the other without a lot more knowledge. I wouldn't be surprised if people that may have known her in her mortal life on this side probably have very active dream lives. But given that our folk are much more sensitive and able to navigate those better, not surprising that it carried along several of us in its wake.
I look out towards the rest of the keyhole. I wonder if anyone else has had dreams about her.
Probably, but do we have? They might not recognize it as her.
yeah.
We found some actually decent and actionable information from these. Might be worth talking to people, seeing if anyone had a weird, particularly vivid dream about this girl that we could describe.
That's a lot of dreams to sift through. There are a lot
Yeah.
of dreams.
But there might be
happening.
relevant information in there. We found her through one of the dreams.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the information we have right now is based off of that first dream. So if somebody else had something that they don't think of as important, but could very well hold another key to unraveling this issue. We should at least try to figure out if that exists.
Over
Bill
five.
and Gilly, I should say, just kind of gestures to the crowd, a good 75% of which are still here. Knock yourselves out.
Hey, people!
Stand up, grab the sword.
Walk over, grab. I'm assuming the mic.
You can find a mic, yeah.
Yo!
Don't tap on the mic. Leaf
Oh,
finger.
she absolutely
Stage
does.
whispers from the side.
I look over and I go, bap, bap, bap. All right.
And he looks like he's getting ready to say something, and then he's like, oh, duh, she never worked here. Okay.
So, you guys have heard everything that's gone on so far.
What the shit are we doing about it?
Well, it's funny. That's where y'all come in. Because some of the people up here and otherwise have had dreams where they have encountered the good Queen Gracie.
Give them the last name too. That might be relevant.
Yeah. Whatever it is. Jeremy doesn't remember.
Gracie
Right.
Randall.
I don't know.
Thank you.
I will step
We've
up.
been able to get some good actionable information off of that. Some of you have probably had dreams too. We can't kick Goblin Queen ass until we have all the information we need about Goblin King. Therefore, if you've had dreams about this young girl or anything Gracie or this, and I start throwing out just all the little details of stuff.
Physical description, that sort of thing.
Physical
Imagery, whatnot.
description. A description of the location where she was grabbed. A description of the house, etc. Anything like this, form a line starting here now. We're going to get this shit covered.
You see a couple people coming in, or a couple people leave as people begin discussing things amongst themselves. And then a couple more people come in, some of them still with lit cigarettes in their hands, flipping off Leaf Finger as they come in. He's like, what the
Oh, the blatant disrespect is him.
and he's like, fuck it, I give up at this point.
We ran this place. Everybody loved us.
We also didn't limit smoking to outside,
Exactly.
which may have been a problem coming to think about it.
Fuck it, it's the world of darkness.
Yep. You assume he probably limits smoking in here because of the plants.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
most people are probably okay with that given the comparative benefit that they get on the other side. But when your friends come and be like, hey, shit's going down and they need everybody's opinion on something, just get your ass in here, you get
Yep.
your ass in there. But a couple people line up. Liz, you will be pleased to know that the first person in line is Clink.
Oh boy, I'm
So-
listening to people.
So Phage will look over at Will and Gilly. Do you two want to head that one up?
All right. We'll take testimonials. Do interviews.
Awesome.
I'll sit by with you just in case anything pings off of the dreams that we've had.
Also, people, whether you've had dreams or not, you may have seen something. Nobody's been talking to anyone about anything up to this point.
Loose lips
about we-
sink ships.
Yeah.
Loose lips get
absolutely.
changed. Locked lips get people killed. Comes
So
back.
don't spread those loose lips to people who are not here right now. But the people here right now, they're all on the ship with you.
Phage, something kind of slams into your arm a little
look
bit.
over.
Paige, who is currently 3 sheets to the wind and grabbing for another shot glass.
Hold on,
Are we
girl.
almost done?
Oh, yes, we're almost done. Hold on.
Good. She tosses another one back.
Ah,
Let me-
white girl wasted.
Excuse you, she's from El Salvador.
That doesn't matter where you're from. You can still get
It's
white
true.
girl
You
wasted.
can still get
You
white
don't have
girl-
to be
white girl
white
wasted.
or a girl to get white girl wasted.
She just kind of leans on your shoulder a little bit. Those were dead bodies. That's not okay.
No, it's not. Phage will give her a shoulder to lean into.
And she sort of just kind of face plants on your upper arm and just kind of leans in there.
So
She apparently has been mildly traumatized by what's happened here today.
yep.
So, welcome to the
Maybe
life.
we start rethinking how many things we keep bringing them the more.
Maybe we could have left Paige at home.
I let her make her own decision.
Yeah, fair.
She didn't have all the information you had.
I didn't know this was going to happen, to be fair. I didn't have this information.
Also fair.
But yeah, so if you've seen something, no matter how small it is, doesn't matter if you think it was significant enough, relating to Hobgoblin, all that bullshit I just said. Anything out of the ordinary, it might relate to this. Join these people in this line. Thank you very much.
It's going to be a tsunami.
The tsunami that I'm not taking testimonials for. I don't give a fuck.
Sit there next to Will Starkers and Gilly and Liz. Sword. I just plant the sword in the stage so it stands up on its own.
What are you doing? It
What I dreamed about, this is about the 2.5 weeks ago. I was dreaming the night, and we were wandering through a woodland, but like standard deciduous woodland. We're not talking like conifers or anything like that. And we were coming up this slope, kind of sort of like West Virginia mountain type landscape there, and but less of the coal mine and wood pulp mill scent on the wind, which is good because those fuckers reek. I tell you what. And we were coming along there, and there was a heard a girl screaming from somewhere from the top of the hill, and kind of walked up there, and shit ton of mountain laurel and rhododendron and the like. So we were coming along that way, and I say we because I have these two fellas that crop up in my dreams fairly often, and I just kind of bring them along for backup, as it were. I don't know if they're real or not, but we were coming up there, and Murphy, he says to me, he says look down there at that castle, and Charlie, who was on the other side, who basically looks exactly like Murphy, but his hair's blonde instead of black. He was Charlie said that's a death trap, and I said that a death trap of that nature is something that we should probably steer clear of. So we were going down there, and it was right down in this hollow, with a stream running down on either side of it, which is weird because they didn't quite meet in the middle. There's some big rock kind of promontory jutting out that way, and the streams just kind of curve around it. So maybe that's something. But I did notice that you had mentioned that because the girl had red hair, and the girl in my dream who was doing the screaming from the battlements, she had red hair too.
So my notes for that whole thing say Clink dreamed of trees, heard a girl scream on a hill, more trees or plants, 2 people with him in his dream, they're normal. Murphy, says, look at that castle. Charlie said, that's a death trap. Clink said, a death trap of that nature is something we should probably steer clear of. Hollow with streams coming down on either side of it, red hair screaming on the battlements.
That was
That's
way more
basically-
than I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say like Clink dream stuff.
That's what Akujin wrote down.
Castle red hair question mark? Right, yeah.
That's what Lissa's note looks like. Okay. Was there she was screaming, and then
Yeah, I
Was
couldn't
that-
quite tell if it was like a happy scream or a terrified scream because kids will sometimes, because she sounded like a younger voice, but the kids will sometimes do, and you can't always quite pick out unless you actually get a real close visual and see body language and that sort of thing.
I look over toward. I hold up a hand, look over towards Gilly and Will. Would any hedge rangers maybe be able to find that location based on that description?
If we know what we're looking for.
A hollow with a
we'll,
castle
I
in
mean,
it and-
if there's an actual castle out there, we'll put that high on the list of priorities.
Might be
When you're
metaphorical.
doing your it might be metaphorical, but when you're doing your recon, keep an eye out for castles.
and a hollow with streams coming down on either side of it with jutting out.
Will holds up his book, which literally has the entire thing transcribed word perfect. I can write too, Akajin.
You are much better than I am. Mine's not nearly that good.
I have practice. You'll get there.
Several of the things in Akashin's are misspelled.
Yep.
So, Phage looks over at Papa Sledge and the personal note, by the way. Did you get that dossier put together that I had asked for?
He snaps his fingers, and one of the summer court. Where'd he go? Yes. And one of the Godforsaken actually steps up with a fairly thin binder, basically one of those like file folders with the brads in it, so that you can he pulls it together, flips it open. You can see a couple of about 3 or 4 typewritten pages. Here's what we've got on them.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Anything else, Papa? Sledge shakes his head. Thanks, you're good.
Well, this has been a hell of a day.
No. This is a good day. I got to see Winter squirm. Always a good day.
And squirm they did.
Not much, not as much as I'd like, but yeah, there was a bit.
I think if we hadn't done this, they would have probably gone the entire winter season without showing their faces.
Still didn't
I
kill
mean,
me.
there's a level of logic. Doesn't resonate with me all that much. Even for somebody with a temper like mine, going in blind is usually a good way to get yourself fucked. Winter likes a hands-off sort of approach, so instead of just coming out and saying, stay still and we'll tell you what you need to know, they just don't tell you anything and trust to natural selection to make sure the smart people stay alive, I guess.
Well, now we've got the
Weird.
information to actually make that happen.
Yeah, they're still probably counting on natural selection to take out a lot of us on the inside. So,
Well, let's see how well we can thwart those odds, huh?
yeah, like one of the greatest movies in the world says, never tell me the odds.
We need a movie night come spring, Paige says, looking over at sunset.
An orgy night come spring.
I mean, I wasn't going to say it, but
Fine, I will.
As a voice of experience, I would say, don't try and have them both on the same night.
Doesn't tend to go well, no. You're either engaged in one or the other.
One takes over and priorities.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unless the movies are porn, in which case.
At
If
that
you
point,
are
it's just
going to the
background.
orgy, you don't need the porn.
Background music.
Okay.
Everybody around you is the background music.
As good as this day's been, I think I've got a poor girl that I just accidentally traumatized. I wasn't expecting Winter to bring bodies, she says, looking down at Paige, who's probably asleep in her arm now.
I mean, for Winter, that's a brassy move. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
To be fair, Winter probably wasn't expecting us to bring mortals, so no judgment. It's fine. I'm just saying they probably, yeah.
All right. I don't know that there's too much more we're going to get done standing around here aside from getting those testimonials.
Akujin's in the text chain, so once our recon staff has anything in terms of intel that we can start working with, you guys will know.
It's been good working with all of you on this.
Watch yourselves a bit. There's gonna be some in the keyhole that would say you all acted a bit presumptuously and overstepped.
To them, I'll say, who else was going to get the job done?
Word to the wise.
Anybody wants to step to me over it, they are more than welcome to. I know that's not how they'll do it, but you know.
Was he going to follow something up with that word to the wise, or was the word to the wise just the some people will think you've been presumptuous?
That was it.
I look over my shoulder. We got it here if y'all need to take off.
All right. War Dancer and I'll front off. You'll be hearing from us.
I want that armor sledge.
Earn it.
Working on it. I say reach over, just sort of tap the pommel on the sword that's embedded in the stage.
That's a real big fuck off sword you got there. Where did you make that one yourself, or did you find that off somebody else, or did you buy that one perchance, or
Made it myself.
You're done with your dream. Move along.
Made it myself, Clink. I'll tell you more about it
We
later.
got a lot of people to get
We
through.
got a line.
Lark will escort him from the stage.
Okay. Clink is summer, man.
I know. I guess I told him. I'll tell you about it. I'll tell you more about it later. But right now we're busy.
Right. So you guys, those of you that are doing the interviews, there's a number of other things that crop up. Many, probably a good dozen or so changelings have had some sort of Gracie centric dream. Most of them did not have the information to identify the subject. A couple of them reflect the sort of Anura phase that you and that Liz and Akujin had experienced. Gracie being a significant presence, a large threat, that sort of thing. She appears in giant form in about half of them, usually to the detriment of the dreamer themselves. Most of them have her in some sort of extreme environment, glacier, desert, that sort of thing. And the rest of them encounter her in some sort of hedge-like, heavily overgrown, dense vegetation, hazardous, rugged terrain, kind of perspective there. Running water does seem to be a theme.
Okay.
Most of them referencing some sort of rapids or waterfall or something like that.
That was true in ours as well because we had standing water.
You guys had standing water. Yeah, nobody else has the huge oversized brambles in stagnant water thing, and most of them don't have any sort of actual like auditory, other than very basic stuff like screaming, shouting, laughing, that kind of thing.
This will say something along the lines of the rising tide, maybe. Boat. You found things on a boat.
Yeah. Bodies.
It's getting deep. Okay. Basically, she's indicating that she thinks that's because the standing is probably like the beginning of things, and the rising water is probably a metaphor for she's getting more agitated and
That's not
stuff's
a bad
happening.
take.
While this is happening, Phage is going to find a quiet corner to just sort of lay Paige down in a seat so she can like pass out for a bit, and is going to go over the contents of that folder.
Okay. You're able to find kind of the basic tenets of the bishopric. There is some information that they have certain tokens and symbols that are associated with them. There's a fair bit on the rumors that sometimes they are seen as bad omens, and that there's associations or accusations of consortment with bridge burners, who are a type of individual that you are familiar with, and that the main rumor is that is the one that no bishop can or can ever have had the sovereign's throne in a freehold.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one that seems to be pretty widely dispersed and taken as gospel for a lot of records and testimonies about it.
Good information to have.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there goes my plans.
No, actually, that just creates a backup. If it turns out that she can't help one way, she'll help the other way.
And there are references to the synod structure of the bishopric as well, that they tend to gather in their own internal councils, and utilize that as a way of dialogue and strategy for what they're planning to do. That they do tend to, unlike other entitlements where everybody just sort of does their own thing, this one does at least have some sort of internal structure that is considered at least traditional, if not mandatory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a couple of boxes being ticked there, because if she does make it to the throne, these are people she'll want to have contact with, and if she doesn't, then she might want to just go ahead and join them. But she will mark all that information down as best she can.
Cool. Easy enough then. And yeah, the file is yours to keep. That's your own copy of it. So
cool.
You'll have access to all that information more or less on a permanent basis as long as you need it. So
she will make sure that Paige is comfortable, and when everyone is ready to leave, she'll take her back to her place.
Okay.
Anyone that asks about the sword, by the way, including Clink, I will tell them to find me after we're done here.
Okay.
And I will, after we wrap up everything, I will host a little talk. Because there's a reason why I've been holding this so prominently, because I could use some more knights.
Lissa's gonna leave at that point. She is not interested.
Oh no, well that'll be like outside, like smoking. So you're interested in this sword, huh?
You've got a couple people, mostly Summer, that that listen to what you have to say. There's a lot of thoughtful looks and consideration of that. Nobody's immediately sign me up, or
Yeah,
anything.
no.
But the information is out there, and you foresee it probably spreading slowly through the keyhole.
I do make sure to put the emphasis on these are people who put the keyhole and others ahead of themselves.
All right.
Alyssa's gonna text tag to the library.
Okay.
Sometime after this, I'd like to apprentice like Clink did.
You get back. Interesting. Apprentice how?
There's a lot of information, and I'm having trouble keeping track of it. It's fracturing.
There's a response back. When you can tell me the spring monarch. And then there's a little autumn leaf and a candle flame.
Okay.
So, rolling back slightly, working with Gilly and Will Starkers, are we able to connect these dots into anything significant, or is this going to be like here's some notes for any hedge rangers going out?
Much more the second, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. And War Dancer comes over while the interviews are happening and has a little aside with Gilly that you can overhear bits and pieces of, which is basically, yeah, we're going to pull your hedge rangers in for some of this recon work today, and see what our scouts and yours can corroborate on and work together to find.
So once all the information is done gathering, look at the rest of the unlikely. I think our job is done here for the day.
Those of us who are remaining, anyway.
Yeah, those of us that are still here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no, I know our job was done. I've been at the bar for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, I noticed.
So as you go over to the bar,
Yep.
Leaffinger sits down and just
Stop.
slides a shot about 5 feet down the bar to you. There's just a single empty seat between the two of you.
Thank you much.
How are we doing?
I don't know. How are we doing? I'm
I think
doing fine. How are...
I think you guys did fantastic. Throws
Awesome.
back his shot. There'll be fallout, like there always is, but
Of course
that's
there will
probably
be.
no news to you.
That's at least 60% of the fun.
Sometimes.
Even when it's not, it is.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's fine. It was exactly as I expected it to go, which is to say fairly successful with a couple surprises and a whole lot of mess.
Feel free to tell me to fuck off after I ask this question.
Okay, I'm glad that you put that clarifier on there.
It felt like it might be necessary. Assuming that you're upright following whatever this is that happens, because knowing you're motley, you're going to be in the thick of it somewhere.
I hope so. But yeah, probably.
What are your future plans
It's a good
that you feel comfortable sharing?
I mean, I've got several, but at the moment, I'm not 100% comfortable laying all of them out. Why do you ask?
Contrary to popular belief, I do look at this freehold as something. You might imagine that I look at most things like a garden, the
Mhm.
keyhole being no exception. And
Right.
I'm quite interested in seeing as many of the seedlings therein growing as strong and as prosperous as possible.
Right. That's fair.
Sometimes that requires difficult decisions, of which I've made my own fair share and will shoulder
Clearly.
the consequences for. But
Good on you.
given that you are one of the people in your motley that I feel has the lower amount of bad blood toward me,
I think that's very fair to say.
and depending how things shake out, would love to know if there's anything I can do to help.
I tell you what. I tell you what. I don't think you're unnecessarily the awful, the great Satan that is the current prevailing mindset.
Oh, if only.
And depending on how this shakes out, well, no matter how this shakes out, I'm sure that there will be ample opportunity or ample need, I guess I should say, for what you and your motley have to offer. Let's put it that way.
All right.
I
just-
think. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Sorry.
No, carry on.
Do your thing.
Carry on. Simply that I wanted to at least make the effort
Yes.
and ensure that someone amongst your number is aware.
It's absolutely appreciated. I take the shot. I will very much keep that in mind, and I actually sincerely apologize.
Which part?
This, bam.
Dexterity and brawl minus, or I mean, strength and brawl -3.
+1 because of +1 because of draconic.
Okay.
I'm going to. It's going to be a sort of a palm strike, so Krav Maga, so +1 for that.
Okay.
And I'm going to throw my last willpower into it because why not?
Fuck, why not?
So that
grand
would
total of
be
+2.
-3, yeah, +2.
Exactly one
Good enough.
damage.
Good
It's like you
enough.
pulled your punch.
Yep. Yeah. No. And it absolutely would be like she's not trying to do any serious damage, but
That's just the strength and brawl. Did you say that
Oh.
if you were supposed to have a
shit, I
+2,
didn't
that
add the
didn't
plus.
roll?
I didn't
Yeah.
add the
Go ahead and re-roll it.
Break his nose.
Yeah. I mean,
as
Which
I knock
is-
him
did-
fucking
did-
out.
It
I
hung.
will ask this of the
6
DM. Is it
damage.
possible to pull your punch, and would she want to Jeremy?
I mean, if you want to, you can.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna break his skull. Like
No.
I'm not gonna cause any skull fractures.
Well, no, because like you would have needed
It's
to do
bashing
7.
damage, yeah.
Right, it's bashing damage, so he's not going to be bleeding out, and you would have needed to do more than that to actually put
Let's
him all
pull
the
it
way
back
down.
to 5.
Pull it back to 5. All right.
Yeah. Enough that
So-
he's not like knocked across the room or anything like that. But hey, she promised she would.
Right. So all of you that are still in the room just hear a smacking sound, and then a clatter as Leaffinger slides down to the far end of the bar, followed by his bar stool.
As I walk over, reach down, help him up.
blood streaming out of both nostrils.
Handing him a handkerchief.
You reach out your hand. He holds his up for just a minute. Licks his upper lip. I need to savor this.
Fair.
And
We
then he
are-
takes your hand
Yep.
and you pull him to his feet.
We good?
He pats you on the shoulder. And then turns to whoever else he can say, "That's two. Would any of the rest of you?"
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. Oh, I said
I'm not gonna take you up on that, Phage says from across the room, because I really don't want to hurt you.
I set the handkerchief down on the bar next to him.
Oh yeah, he'll take the hanky and
Yeah. Wait for some ice. Set it down like
yeah. Will
You have a
turnovers
good
right
one.
there with like boop. Yep. Mhm.
Someone would need to stop Lark at that because she was
This
waiting
is-
to talk to Megan, so she was standing back.
oh my god.
But she has the switchblade out. So
No stabs. No stabs. Yeah, that's like she is intercepting. Like no stabs.
I
Lark's
pull
just
out a-
like slowly, calmly walking towards him. Please, someone stop.
Yeah,
No,
no.
that's what
Oh,
Megan's
yeah.
doing.
That's what Megan's
Yeah,
Okay.
she is intercepting, like sort of.
Is Megan going to
shifting
need to do
around.
more than just stand in front of Lark to stop
Yes.
her, or?
She walks in front. She very quickly wraps arm around, sort of maneuvers her to be walking the other
Okay.
direction. It's like no stabby, no stabby, no stabby, no stabby.
I just
Alright.
I pull out a
So
cigarette.
She'll put it away.
I pull out a cigarette, light it, and just from across the room, I got no problems.
I mean, me neither.
No, that was to Leaffinger.
Yeah.
It was like any more? I had no problems.
As Megan is maneuvering her away,
Mhm.
when are you going to teach me to do that?
Just
I will
as
say,
soon as you're
um,
ready. You've had a lot
I'm
going
ready.
on.
We need to prepare.
All
for
right, let's
this.
do this shit.
Okay, you want to do this tonight?
Sure.
You'll get a punching
Alright.
bag shaped like Leaffinger.
Also, she will give.
No,
her
I
a
don't
hug.
want her to destroy my punching bags.
She will also give Megan a hug.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
That was amazing.
Phage will walk over to Leaffinger. Do you want some help with that, or are you just gonna let it sit?
I'd said it. The nose looks broken.
He lifts his head, pulling a bloody handkerchief away. Help with what? And you can see there's like a little bit of crusted dried blood, but he apparently has access to that as well.
Don't act fancy. I can do that too.
It's our court.
Exactly. That's why I asked.
Thank you for the offer. Genuinely appreciated. All right. Well,
You're a shit.
looks
and
like things are wrapping up here.
You're a shit.
Sorry,
And
go ahead.
you really shouldn't be taking advantage of people who are just looking for help. But I don't have that much of a grudge with you.
In the event that things do spool out in your favor, one thing, if I may, to consider. Your desires are your own. Deeply, deeply contemplate every possible meaning of that phrase. And you'd make a great queen.
I'm just here to help. If that's the way it rolls out, it's the way it rolls out. I'm not going to be mad either way.
Neither will I. Neither will I.
For what it's worth, I like the plant. It screams a little too much spring for the commons, but it's not bad.
There are certain things we can offer that others cannot. And that sword cuts both ways, but I like to remind people.
So,
I think it'll hang around for at least a little while.
I'm glad to see Will still gets to do what he loves. Fate's looking over at Will, giving him a nod.
The man is a savant. What can I say?
Anyway. Hopefully.
You've got things to do.
Yes.
Everything's fine.
Hopefully
Carry
everything
on.
shakes out well. I've got a poor drunk girlfriend who just got traumatized by winter to go take care of.
All right. Well, you do that. And by all means, do your best to see that everything spools out well. I hate having a half full house.
And she will nod and go head over to pick Paige up and carry her home.
He'll lift his glass, which you can see is definitely just ice water now, and just start pounding down a couple of those. But everything seems to be wrapping up. You guys are on the verge of hopefully some decent recon from summer, which may give some level of direction to where things head next. Are you all headed out?
I make sure that the information we got from the transcripts gets to Summer as well. For this,
Okay.
And let Warrior to know, hey, this is something Scouts might need to keep an eye out for. I've already passed it to Autumn's Hedge Rangers, because if she has a castle, metaphorical or not, that's going to be a stronghold. That's going to be a base of operations. Keep an eye out.
Right. Yep.
And then I'll talk to the people about the broken blade and then head out.
Okay. All right.
Yep, I'm taking like to go. I will list. Where are you currently? Still around?
She can't go anywhere. So
Liz.
yes.
Ray learn to fight.
What?
Didn't you want to learn how to? Is Jeremy remembering that wrong? Because I swear to God,
It was
I
butterfly.
cannot remember.
Liz mentioned butterfly might want to learn to fight.
Oh yeah, that was it.
okay, fair.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if Liz
I'll
wants
I
to,
mean, there's no. I was gonna say there's no reason
I
you
will
couldn't
ask
offer.
anyways, because I saw she doesn't say this, but she did see the last time that
Yes,
Liz
she
fought
did.
someone,
Liz is not good
and
at
it did not go well.
No.
if
What?
You wanna get a little bit better at kicking people's asses?
No. I want. No.
Okay, no worries. Figured I'd ask.
I want to know where they're going to be so I can. Never mind.
Need a ride, Liz?
Yes, please.
Go on.
We'll go with packaging.
Okay. Follow Akajin out through the foyer. Standing there by the door, you see Click Clack with a game box in his hand. He looks up at you and then just kind of looks down at it.
Oh, I have a thing.
I'll look over at Click Clack. You need a ride too?
He kind of jumps a little bit. No?
Can you drive to Click Clack?
When they let me.
Okay. I'll get back my own way. Bye.
All right.
To Akujin.
I will give Liz the agency to make that decision and leave.
All right.
And if there's a 3-car pileup that we need to clean up later, I'll take that responsibility.
You've been warned at this point. You no longer have a "I didn't know" excuse.
Oh no! Now at this point, Akushina's like, it's her choice.
Upstairs or
where do you want to go?
that would be fine. It's easier where you're comfortable.
Upstairs.
Okay.
Roof. We can go on the roof. I'll grab my coat. I still have it.
Okay. And that's where we'll leave it for tonight.
Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Goodbye. My mouse.